I'm Allan Dale from Gale Force Wins, and this is the Harbour Strong podcast where everybody's conversation is important and everybody's conversation matters. And on that note, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Tom Davis. I'm the Ward 4 Councillor for the City of St. John's. I'm also a small business owner, father, and someone who's really concerned about the future of our province.
Tom, you came out today on a Saturday and, a nice St. John's Day here. What was it about the Harbour Strong conversation and men's mental health made you want to come out today?
I've known Bill for a little while, and I've been to a number of his events, and I've seen firsthand the impacts in this province and also just around the world from declining mental health, and in particular, young men too as well. Last November, we had, on the same day, we had one young man who worked for us kind of casually, died by an overdose. And then another young man who worked for us for a year full-time, but then he stopped working at the end of the summer to go back to university. And on the exact same day, he died by suicide. An incredible young man, and he was in the reserves. And it has shaken myself, my business, and I know that I can't stand idly by, so whatever I can do.
Those are very significant events. Are those sort of the catalysts that changed your perspective around this conversation and made you want to be in this conversation?
In actual fact, the real catalyst was in August of 2020 when our oldest nephew died by fentanyl overdose in Maine. And he was the oldest of 4 boys, and my wife's closest sister. And he was an incredibly talented young man who played the guitar and lit up a room. He was 27 years old. And that really brought it home. Like, up to that point, I knew it was a problem, and you could see it all around you. But that was all during COVID as well. And it was, at that point is when I really got that it's everybody's responsibility. Yeah, that was probably the real big awakening for me, was losing Adam.
That's an impactful story, and I'm glad that Adam brought you to this point and brought you in this conversation. Tell me, do you feel that men are vulnerable at the moment, men's mental health and the conversation around men? Do you think there's some vulnerability there?
I have a 27-year-old son, and I have 4 younger than that, so 22 to 25-year-old nephews, and I see it in them. They seem lost, and they seem consumed by things they can do nothing about. And it seems like they're just stuck, and I look at them, I try and coach them, and I know they're vulnerable, and they go down a lot of rabbit holes, and they're intelligent men, and so we know it's a challenge. We know we're hearing about declining men's mental health. Death by suicide is a big issue among young people, but I was part of a session that Bill did a couple of years ago. It was a fundraiser, but also they had an expert come in, and it amazed me to hear that it was men over 55 that were the largest portion of people dying by suicide, which was really surprising. So really, you're talking about generations and we need, especially the young people, to not be lost. I mean, that's our future. Yeah.
Tom, the little I know about you, I know you to be a solution provider. I know that you can see pathways where most people cannot. You say you're one of those guys that I often say can see around corners. What do you think the way forward here is for men's mental health?
I think first of all we have to recognize that people are unique, and what might work for one young man or older man may not be relevant. So I can only take my lived experience, and I'm also trying to interact with as many different people. I feel that a place to start is for the people who have have power or are leaders in the community, for them first to step up and show vulnerability and show that it's okay, but also to encourage those people to get involved. So the solution that might work for a small portion, as I see, would be for people, first of all, to get out of the bigger picture. I mean, if you can't do anything about it, don't consume that information. Consume information that gives you hope, that inspires you, and then take it one step at a time, one mouthful of the elephant at a time. Try and figure out some reason to get out of bed in the morning. Try and find some purpose. Connect with your community, connect with other people, whether it's men or family or whatever, because again, there's this loneliness epidemic that's occurring. Young people, and I guess older people too, they're in their homes, they're alone. So I think finding a community, getting out of your space, and also, a big thing too is what's that self-narrative? What are you saying to yourself? What can't you do? What can you do? Be conscious of those negative thoughts that have a tendency to bring you down, and maybe make it harder to get out of bed in the morning. So I mean, I think trying to come up with I use the hero narrative, which is a really big word. I know that Bill talks about the champions sort of narrative. Find a way to be a champion for something or a hero for something. Could be going picking up garbage, which I did this morning. Could be helping out a neighbor. Could be going and visiting your loved one. Sometimes you just start small, but I think, first of all, not looking at the world as the dark place that is so easy to look at. Try and find hope. You're only looking, think micro sometimes. When your world looks very dark, think micro. Like, what can I do today for me to help me have purpose, to help me feel better, to put me on a path to get out of this hole that life has, for whatever reason, put me in.
And that's why conversations matter. Thanks for joining us on the Harbour Strong podcast.